just CSLPS. CSLPS. Thank you so much. Ready? Oh. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday Night Wisdom Share Sacred Practices. So glad you're all here tonight to hear. We're so excited to have Jeff tonight. He's going to be sharing this evening on, what's the title of it tonight? It's called the Seventh Harmonic Chakra Meditation. So I can't wait. Look at this over here. We're going to be really taken for a really beautiful ride, journey, and alignment. So I'm really looking forward to this evening. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, we're so happy that you're here with us tonight, and we're trusting that you too find a nice little space for yourself to enjoy this evening's presentation. Let's see, next week, I'm going to be sharing, Mark Acamanda, Rev. Mark, and I'm going to be sharing on, it's called the Bell of Mindfulness. Oop, we got some feedback. The Bell of Mindfulness. And the Bell of Mindfulness, I'm going to talk about some neuroscience, the neuroplasticity of the brain, and some ancient Vietnamese Buddhist teachings, and how that all kind of works together. Now, these ancient cultures had this technology down way before science caught up to it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the practices that can help us to really develop certain parts of our brain. And now the science is proving all this stuff. So we're going to be doing a really nice mindfulness practice next week, and I'll keep you in suspense of what's actually going to happen. So we're going to do some really cool practices. So and then the next week we have Gail Crosby coming for part 2 of it's called The Golden Path. The last time she was here, she did As Above, So Below. And on the Golden Path, she's going to talk about, she says, what does her, like God, her living waters bring, this feminine aspect of God? What does this living waters bring? Right knowledge required to walk forward on the golden path that leads us to individual first and eventually society. Wait, I didn't read that right. Right knowledge required to walk forward on the golden path that leads us individually and eventually our community into a new golden age, where as above is so below, and as within is so without. The golden path is revealed next week, in 2 weeks from now when she comes. She comes all the way from Yucaipa. And so please invite all your friends to support her since she's coming here from so far away. So we're really excited. She did a phenomenal presentation last month before anybody was here. So please come join us again. So I'd like to start this evening, just a couple announcements. The announcements for donations online, if you're online. And if you'd like to donate, you can donate at our cslps.org. You can go click, there's drop-down buttons for donations for this evening, and you can go to Text to Give at 760-389-1333. That's 760-389-1333. And just after you put in the dollar amount of whatever you'd like to share, then you just write the word wisdom after that, and then it'll go right to this evening's. And we are now sharing some of our tithe with our presenters. So we feel very fortunate about giving and receiving, right? So anyway, so let's begin by doing a nice centering practice, okay? Kind of creating a little bit of space to help us to open and be receptive to receive, to align, to get connected. And just noticing our body, wherever we find ourselves in this exact moment right here, right now. Taking a few conscious breaths. And just feeling this breath has been breathing us since the day we were born. As we bring our full attention, our full awareness to this exact moment, in the here and the now, this present moment. And as we quiet and still our mind, we align in the sanctuary of the heart, a place of refuge within. a center of peace. We open up and tap into and align with the beloved presence of creation of God that is always here within us at the core and center of who we are. In this place, we tap into the wisdom of this infinite wisdom and intelligence. We create space now to create a sacred space for ourselves and for each other as we create this sacred circle for wherever we are, wherever we happen to be. We're all here together tonight in this one mind, this one consciousness. In this place of connection with this inner beloved presence of God. I know that each one here tonight is here on purpose, that everyone is here in perfect divine right order, and that our soul hears exactly what it needs to hear. I know that Jeff is in perfect alignment with his beloved creative power and source, that it works in him, and through him, as always, sharing his beautiful gifts, wisdom, and sacred practice with us tonight, as we all perfectly align in the vibration of oneness, aligning our chakras, that we are, and knowing that we are supporting each other tonight in this gathering, in this sacred space. And so with our hearts wide open right now, we throw the doors wide open to the infinite possibilities for this evening, knowing that Spirit is leading the way. We release this now, we let it go, we let Spirit have its way, and we claim it as so by saying, and so it is. All right, so I'm going to invite Jeff to come down. Just going to... That's also our producer for the evening,
squeeze on through. A lot of stuff up here. Okay. Let me put on my Madonna headset here, since I forgot to do that.
Turn off the fluorescence?
Yeah, if you like, sure. Sure. Okay. I think I'm here. There I am. Don't I sound just like Madonna? I do. I look like her too. I know. Okay, so here we go. Okay, folks, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Let me just make sure I have keyboards here. I do. That's a good sign. Okay, well, tonight we're going to open with the 7th harmonic chakra meditation, and tell you a little bit about what's coming. The 7th harmonic, what does that mean? As probably most of you folks know here, or have heard me talk about, or you know it already, sounds do not travel alone. Sound wave they travel in groups, they travel in packs. So, for instance, if I were to sing that note right there, that's a G, and I'm going to sing it to you right now, and that sounds, and that's the main wave that's coming. But along with that G, there's a whole bunch of other, look what's happening to me. There's a whole bunch of other little notes that are riding along, like piggybacking along with it, of higher frequencies, and those are called harmonics. And those notes are so quiet that they don't actually sound like separate notes. They just give color to the main note. So while I'm singing this la 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 la, you could sing la 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 la, and we both be singing the same note. But because the harmonics are different, we would know it was you singing and not me. Harmonics are what give sound its color and help us define what's making the sound. One of the the cool things about harmonics is that although they vary completely between what sound is being heard, because some of those harmonics are soft, some of them are loud, depending on who's talking or what's making the noise, they always occur in the same pattern. It's like they're always drawing from the same pool. Like, for instance, if that's my note, the first harmonic that's actually included in that is actually an octave higher. And the third one and the fourth one, it goes twice as high, 3 times as high, 4 times as high. It's very simple math, actually, what it is. But when we hear those, the first 6 of them put together, if we were to just play those notes and hear them, they sound like this. They sound like a major chord. That's why we like them. It's not just because somebody just made them up. They're actually, that's the way the universe vibrates. That's why they feel that way. When the 7th one shows up, though, something happens. You get a dissonance. And the 7th harmonic. So dissonance, isn't that an ugly thing? Well, no, it's a thing that makes us want to move. It makes us want to go someplace. The 7th harmonic is about change, it's about evolution, and it's about evolving. It's about evolving. So transformation was the word I was looking for. So since it does make us want to go someplace, when we hear that, it makes us want to go to a specific place, namely here. Okay, we all know that sound. It sounds like music, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up and why is because these notes, we associate these notes with specific chakras, right? So if we have like do, do, there's a note do. Chakra-wise, we would say do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. That's the way they work that way. And with this unfolding that happens with the 7th harmonic, we end up with do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Ding, ding, ding. They go down like that, except they don't show up in that order. They show up like do, ti, mi, la, re, so, do, fa. That's the way they show up. That's the way that they unfold naturally in nature. If we take all those notes and squish them all together, it goes do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But they unfold in that way. And I mention that to you because that is the way that this meditation works. And so instead of just going down the chakras, you actually go down, and then you go back up, and then you go down, and you go up, and you go down, and you go up again. So just kind of getting you ready for what's happening. And while we're traveling, while we're on this journey, it's guided through this, and I'll be playing these bowls and chiming in now and again. But what we do is we exhale when we're descending. So like if we're moving from, say, the crown, say, to the heart, we would be here, and it would say inhale, exhale, exhale into the third eye. Inhale, exhale into the throat. Inhale, exhale into the heart, and rest your attention there. So this is what's going to happen. So you'll know when it comes. One thing I wanted to touch on before we get started is what happens. What happens when we focus our attention? And the attention is an interesting area. It's something I've been really paying attention to lately. Has anyone ever heard the term free attention? Has anyone ever heard that? Free attention? It's in some reading that I've been doing, it keeps coming up, and I've heard the concept before. And I always thought, well, free attention meant that you weren't identified. I was free to pay attention to what I choose. And while that might be an aspect of it, working with it, it occurs to me that my attention is often my ego mind wants to get involved with my attention. Even when I direct something, it's kind of like, you know how when people say, pay attention, it's like, okay, I'm looking, you're bringing all this stuff to it, and that was obviously an exaggerated example, but it can be really subtle, even when we're trying to direct attention within ourselves. Somebody is giving the direction. Some part of us is giving the direction. And that's okay. The ego mind that's one of its very valuable functions. It's good at giving directions. But when we do give that direction, it's possible that even in the giving of direction, that we can be surrendered. Can be even a quality of surrender, even as we're guiding our attention around. And I think let's start by feeling our feet on the floor if you're sitting in a chair, or if we're on a cushion, feeling our sit bones, just feeling where we're touching the ground. Let's just take a breath and get quiet and gently direct our attention to the sensation of our feet on the ground. You can kind of feel it. You can feel the way that your feet, you kind of want to think about them a little bit, but then you cannot think about them, and you can just be aware of them. And that's what I'm talking about. I just wanted to touch on that because the attention, when it's free, when it's bare attention, I think is something I've heard in Zen, that people talk about bare attention. When it's bare, it's very, very light. And it makes me think of a butterfly that lands on you. It's definitely there, but you can't really feel it. It's so very light. So when we go through this, and your attention's being guided, try and keep it light that way. So let's just get going with this. Let's get going with this, and have a seat where you like. And let me get my necessary things up in the right spot. Okay, so let's begin. Just take a moment now to focus on the breath. Allow your attention to rest on the breath as it rises and falls. Now, allow the attention to move upwards to the crown of the head, the crown chakra. Allow the attention to rest there. Inhale. Exhale into the third eye. Inhale. Exhale into the throat. Inhale. Exhale into the heart. Inhale. Exhale into the solar plexus and rest the attention there. Ram, the solar plexus. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up into the heart. Exhale. Inhale up to the throat. Exhale. And inhale up into the third eye. And rest the attention there. Sham, the third eye. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale into the throat. Inhale. Exhale into the heart. Inhale. Exhale into the solar plexus. Inhale. And exhale into the sacral chakra and rest the attention there. Vam, the sacral chakra. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up into the solar plexus. Exhale. Inhale up into the heart. Exhale. Inhale up into the throat chakra and rest the attention there. Hum, the throat chakra. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale into the heart, inhale, exhale into the solar plexus, inhale, exhale into the sacral, inhale, and exhale into the root chakra, and rest the attention there. Inhale, exhale, inhale up into the sacral, exhale, inhale up into the solar plexus, exhale, and inhale into the heart chakra, and rest the attention there. Yam, the heart chakra. Yam, Now, with the heart chakra open, we allow our attention to broaden even further and include the crown chakra. Both open now, both relaxed, allowing the highest, finest, and most pure love to flow into us and through us in all its glorious beauty. Now as we come back to a more local experience, we recognize that this balance and peace is not something we made, but is something that's always there, has always been there. And we know that we have access to it at any time. It's a well that nourishes and sustains us. Okay, folks. Welcome back. How was the journey? There's a plane. I was like, what note is that? Where's that coming from? Yeah. I hear harmonics. Ah, that was nice of it. Nice of him, yeah. So any thoughts? Anybody want to share a little thing or just want to hang with it? You feel aligned? Yeah, good, good. Were you able to feel the up and down and the exhales and the inhales? Yeah. I've been doing this meditation for a while. I do it myself fairly often. So I'm glad I was able to take you on my little trip.
Sometimes I was singing with the
Uh-huh.
Even the higher and the lower. That was really cool.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to, there's people on Facebook that are watching us too, so if, and YouTube, so if someone wants to speak, anybody want to speak, share? Not really? Okay. If y'all want to, we have a microphone. You can share with the world your thoughts. Yeah, that's good, thank you. Since I basically disappear off screen when I want to run around down here. Okay, I'm still here. Okay.
Can you do if you have time?
Yes.
I just thought, I love your symbol that you created there. And I know one time you had told me what your symbol, I don't know if you even have time to want to do that, share that, but just a little brief explanation of what your symbol.
Yeah, I think I could make it without getting too heady and crazy, I hope. Yeah, it's called, this symbol is called the harmonic triquetra. And
You created that, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And one of the, well, first of all, the center thing, that three-petaled flower in the center, you may have seen that before. That's like a Celtic symbol that's pretty common, called the triquetra. But those of us who are visually oriented might recognize the golden spirals in that. Do you see that? Those spirals that start and they spin around like that? Yeah. The first, that golden spiral followed out to half of its length. It actually matches the same numbers as the harmonic series. So there's a connection between what we experience sonically and what we see in like spiral galaxies and flowers and stuff. It's actually the same kind of numbers. And we're going to cast a musorical in a moment, but one of the things about the musorical is it's based on a lot of ascending and descending scales, which mean different things. Ascending, in the musorical, ascending scales refer to ascending processes, things that we're trying to make happen. That's what an ascending process, or we set an intention, try and get something done. And descending processes are about what's coming down in our environment. And so that funny little, you see those three little round shapes that into that little curl thing? What those are is it's an ascending harmonic series, and it meets a descending harmonic series going the other way. So it's a triquetra, but it's actually the symbol is completely open on all sides, and it represents our lovely first 6 harmonics chord that we heard a whole lot of. And of course, the 7th harmonic is that 7-pointed star in the middle. So that's what that is. I hope that wasn't too boring, was it?
That was
Is that okay?
no,
Okay,
very,
yeah.
very interesting.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah. So, what should we do next? Should we move to musorical land? Is it time? Okay, let's move to musorical land. I was going to say I shuffled these cards earlier, but actually what I did was I sat them on the floor and swirled them all around because I kind of sprained my finger today, which is a strange thing, which is I can barely bend this, and I certainly couldn't shuffle cards, and this is a challenge for the piano player. But, I'll hang. So I'm going to close this and see, will we keep our harmonic triquetra or will it go black? We will keep it.
It was all in divine purpose.
Yes, perfect.
All divine order to shuffle the cards in the perfect way.
I did. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. And thank you for that lovely introduction, by the way. That was great. Okay, so this is the musorical, and I think maybe everybody here has experienced it once or twice here. Okay, yeah, you have not, okay. The musorical is a little thing of my invention. It's an 89-card deck, and it comes with 13 12-sided dice, and it's called the tarot of music, and it's obliquely related to the tarot. very obliquely. I mean, it has cards. I mean, maybe a little more than that. And it has suits. The suits are based on instrument families, but instead of numbers, they're harmonies. And instead of a major arcana that has things like, the hermit and the sun and that in it, it has compositional cards with things like harmony and melody, that sort of thing in it. And its purpose is not to predict or to tell the future. It's actually a storytelling tool. And when I actually cast for other people, the point of it is I know the language, but I help other people find their stories. I don't find them for them. I find I think it's just more valuable to have to come up with something that comes from inside of you rather than have someone lay something on you. And that would also presume that I would know what to lay on you, which I would not. So, usually a musorical casting, the way that the dice and cards were out, you can have anywhere from 1 to 12 positions, and it's kind of an intimate thing. It's because you're finding a story and I'm helping you find it. And afterward, as we're doing the whole casting, it's all based on music, and it inspires me to play things, tells me what to play. And so you kind of get to make up a story with a musical underscore with it, which actually adds a lot of emotional content to it. And then what I do at my studio, which by the way is called the Seventh Harmonic, what I do at my studio is I have 1 or 2 people laid on massage tables and all these bowls in and around you, and I do a private sound bath based on whatever the casting came up with. So that's what I do. But what I do here is something that I actually discovered during the pandemic when I was trying to share this with people online, and a whole bunch of people online. It's like, well, how am I going to do that? So there's another kind of casting I do called a one-up, and it's just 2 dice and 1 card. And actually 2 dice and 1 card is a whole lot of information. You can actually get a lot out of just one of those. So what I do is I do 3 of them, these 3 one-ups, 1, 2, and 3, and have everybody who's watching or here pick a number between 1 and 3, and that will be your casting. And then you can see if you can find a story into it and share it with us if you like. And that goes for the people out in TV land. I mustn't forget you're there. So let's do one. But what I want to do first is I want to get the right keyboard up, and I don't have the right keyboard up. We just want a piano. That's perfect. Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. Does everyone have a number between 1 and 3? We do? Okay. Okay, you got one? Good. I'm glad you did that because it gave me a chance to pick one too. And all the people at home in TV land, do you have your number? Okay. Okay. So we're going to do number 1 right now. Okay. And we are in A flat descending. You don't have to know what this stuff means, but I'll give you the keywords for each of these elements so you can start making your story. And the point of lay, and the card, silence. Ooh, the black card. Okay. It's always nice to get silence. I don't get it that often. Okay. And here's casting number 2. D sharp ascending. The scale point of La, as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And the card is tonality. We got some heavy ones this time, you guys. Some heavy. No, it's not really heavy. Not heavy, just deep. Not heavy, deep. Deep is fun. Yeah, feel free to go ahead and take a chair now that we're done with the meditating part. I like to sit when I'm meditating, but not so much otherwise. And the third casting, we are in the key of A. And our note here, our scale point is Do, as in Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So. And our card, Divisi. Divisi. Okay, so here we are. Let's start at the beginning. We start at the end, it's too short. Okay, here we go. That is our key. We're in the key of A flat. And here's our note. And the card is silence. Did anyone pick number 1? Okay, 1, good, good. 1 person here, and who knows how many out in television land. So we have this. Now, first we have the key, this black dice here, that gives us the key of A flat. It's called a musician's die. A flat descending, as we know from the meditation we just did, it's possible for energy to move up and down the chakras. A is associated with the crown, the third eye chakra, and G is associated with the throat chakra, which is about communication. You have insight and communication. And A flat is energy moving downward from here to here. So the key word for that, or the key phrases for that, is sharing wisdom. It's basically sharing what you know. And the scale point, that's the white die, and scale points are solfege notes like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This one is actually lay, which is like sort of like a black key on the piano, also kind of an in-between note. But what that represents is it's called the point of mechanicality. It's sort of things that we do automatically. Be something habitual, something unconscious, things that we just do without thinking, or something maybe that we haven't examined. And then there's the card of silence. And the silence card is an interesting thing. It can be a profound silence, like inner silence. But in a case of, it can also be something very mundane, like just not talking. Or it could be maybe being stifled, or not being able to talk, or wanting to speak and not being able to. And that perhaps might come into play because it's something that's habitual. Something that's habitual. So here have this idea of sharing wisdom, of knowing, this inner knowing in your third eye. And it's trying to fall down into the throat and be communicated, but automatically it's bumping into silence. That could be your silence, it could be someone else's silence. Essentially, these are just elements of story. And the idea is the story you find will be the right one for you. So, does that mean anything to you? Does that ring a bell to you in any way?
Feels like neutral. I would say the neutral, balance, and calmness. The dark, or the silence is calmness.
Mm-hmm. As calmness, yes. Mm-hmm.
So no need to speak because it's so peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's
And it's
that's lovely. Oh, I follow you. Yeah.
where you feel things like this neutral peace, don't need to, no ego.
Yeah. That's really good. if I'm following you correctly, you're saying that basically that in order to communicate this way, it's actually there's no need to speak, and the mechanicality, the automaticity, might be in actually speaking, and it's what you don't want to do. That's lovely. That's brilliant, and that's really why I love doing these castings for other people, because I would have never thought of that. You know, I thought immediately, oh, I'm automatically shutting up when I don't need to be. Well, of course, that's my story. It's not your story. It's not your story. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Calmness, peace, and
Yes. Yes.
Bottom.
Another take on this would be too that there's certain eternal verities, certain wisdoms that can never be put into words. There's just the knowingness that shows up in infinite variety of things, but we as Westerners want to try to limit everything by putting it into words. And in the East, there is a lot more emphasis on the wordless, like, for example, the wordless prayer, as opposed to a formal prayer. So that's how I interpret it, is that there is, and because of that inner wisdom, and we can communicate without words into our inner self, our higher self.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that
Yeah, I was thinking something along the same lines, but for me it kind of went the other way. For when I'm still and finding that peace, the quiet stillness, when I practice that, that's when the wisdom comes to me. That's where I get the wisdom. So
excellent,
so
excellent.
It came, it's coming to me that way as opposed to, but I get that wisdom
Yes.
when I get peaceful and I continue to practice
Beautiful.
that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Again, I love that each one of these, when I lay them out, I tend to lay them out like musicians die, solfege die, card, but that's not the way the story has to go. They're just elements of story that you can find something in that will speak to you. That's really helpful. That's really helpful to me. And yeah. It's just like you have this descending scale and this want to speak, and then don't. Yay. Okay, number one was good. Okay, who's got number two? We got any number twos? There's a couple number twos in the audience. Yeah, I picked number two as well. Okay, this one is D sharp ascending. So here we have this scale, like so, and our scale point, the white dice, is do re mi fa sol la, and the card is tonality. This is one of my favorite cards because it can get really deep and abstract, and also can be really, really simple at the same time. So I'm interested to see what y'all come up with. First of all, the musician's die, the D sharp going up. La is the point of acceptance and forgiveness. These notes, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, they're all points in a process. They're points in a process. So in an ascending process, things that we're trying to accomplish, we set intentions, we meet resistance and mechanicality, we then make an effort, And then after we end up making that effort, if we're lucky, the true nature of what we're looking at is suddenly revealed to us. What we thought we were doing, we're actually not. There's a deeper dimension to it. And then we get to sow, and then, okay, here's the broad challenge, here's the real work. And then at some point, as we get near the end of it, we realize that there's something that we just must accept or forgive in order to get to the final step, which is transition, which is moving to the next place. So this is the point of needing to accept and forgive. Now, this is law. The musicians die. I don't remember if I mentioned that. The musicians die. This is moving upward from the sacral chakra, which is the sex chakra, and which is also profoundly connected. It can be connected to intimate partnerships. It's also profoundly connected to creativity, because it's through the activity of the second chakra that we actually come into our bodily form. So we're talking about serious creative juice there. And really, I think whenever we tap into the creative force, whether we're making art, we're making a good conversation, or making a meal, whatever it is we're doing, the second chakra, when we're in it, it's engaged. It doesn't necessarily feel sexy, but it also can be certainly dealing with intimacy and partnership. So somewhere around this, and it's moving up into the solar plexus. It's D sharp. It's moving up into the seat of will, where we get things done. We get things done from the solar plexus. It's our core. To have a strong body, we have a strong core. It's how we stand up straight. It's how we move through the world. It's the seat of the will. So we're bringing this profound creativity into what we're doing. It's like this point feels to me like just opening up to creativity and bringing it in to where I'm going. Just being open to that flow and in a very forward-moving kind of way. So those are the first 2 points. The third one is tonality. The card. I had mentioned to you, we talked a little bit about harmonics, these little carrier notes that are always involved in any sound. And what those do is they create a center. When you put all those things together, they create a center. Let me show you what I mean. When you hear this, the first 6 harmonics, do, that's where it is. I could play this and say, sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. How do we know where do is? Its tonality is like a center of gravity. That's what it's like, a center of gravity. And what the tonality card asks us is whatever it is that I'm looking at, whatever I'm dealing with, what is the center of gravity? What am I in this? Or what is whatever in this? What is it drawing to it? What is the beacon that is drawing everything else to it? That do. What is that? What is that? Does that make sense to everyone? Does that make sense? So what we're looking at here is this idea of bringing creativity into will. We're looking at acceptance and forgiveness. And we're looking at this notion of center of gravity. Center of gravity. Those are some pretty wild storytelling elements. Anybody come up with something in that? Any number 2s? Yes, Stephen. Oh, wait, you need a mic. Okay, here comes the jogger with the mic.
Yeah, so for me, that is very much about my business.
Yeah.
And, people come to me in business and they want to know how I can have a safe 6% return on my portfolio. And I look at them and I say, but what's in your heart? And they're not expecting that answer. And yet, it has become far more gratifying for me. When I started this business 6 years ago, I felt like I had to do it like everyone else. You know, how can I be a Morgan Stanley banker or something? And that did not fit for me. But finding what my clients want to do with their lives and figuring out how to make that all happen for them, given the resources that they're bringing to the table and will continue to, provide such a richness for me. And I had to forgive myself for not being that guy who's just going to say, like, what's the Sharpe ratio and what's the beta on that stock that you want to invest in, and say, what's in your soul that you want to invest in, and how's that all connect for you? And so I also love it that, you know, we're creating that and then getting to work with that, you know, by moving from the sacral to the solar plexus there. So you got it.
Yeah, well, that's really clear. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really, really clear. That's really clear. So yeah, it's like, I love the tonality. It's like the tonality card. It's like, where's Doe? What's your song? Who are you in this? Who are you in this? That's such an essential question that you can get busy and not bother to ask, right? Yes. Is what? Is Doe. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Oh, Carla, yes. It's dark out there for me. I can't see back there.
Yeah, so when you start talking about center of gravity and creativity, and I just got a picture of kind of a black hole looking thing in my mind, and then I was thinking about Abraham's vortex, and what you put into your vortex is what you create. I mean, it's like the creativity is coming from what's in your vortex, or what's your center, like you said, the center of gravity in there. What's your center? So I guess my mind just went to thinking about that, and you create what your focus is, and sometimes the forgiveness and the acceptance or that can be a block too. Until you get to that point, can be blocking your creativity.
Yeah, that's good. I love the word vortex, because that's really what tonality feels like. It makes me think of, when you have this note, and you say, this is Do, this is the tonality I'm going to be in. All that goes with it, and you go to other places, and then there it is. It's still there. It's just such a. It reminds me of I was going to say a planet, but I like the idea of a black hole better, because everything's going around it, and whatever you get to, you need to get to that. The vortex is a really good word for it. And yeah, and I like that with you and with Steve that comes first. It's like the creativity comes from there. The tonality comes first in the story, and this, and then comes the creativity, and then moving forward, and then dealing with the acceptance. If that's called for, right? Yeah, good stuff. And it's nice in the key of E flat, the tonality, or D sharp, same thing. That is the tonality. And law, acceptance and forgiveness is kind of a sweetness there. And it's right in the tonality, so yay. Oh, Melissa, okay.
Hi.
Maybe you should flip on, can you flip on a light? Maybe one of the side ones there?
I like the darkness.
You know, it's just kind of silly, but kind of the first thing that, well, I'll tell you the first thing I thought of last.
Okay.
But yeah, the tonality and just when you were describing, I just thought of like the one note, the one tone that's sung is of God, is the center that creates us, that connects us all. So it's starting point of source.
I didn't quite follow that. Say that one more
So
time?
the one note that's sung, the tone,
Yes.
starts with the creator, the creation, the energy of God that connects us all. So it's all sung and out. And I was thinking of the sacral chakra when you were talking about that, but as sex is reproduction, it's you know, all of us here, you know. What came into mind when you first played the piano was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And, you know, just like, almost like Mr. Rogers being God, or the thought of that, of just teaching, you know, the children or the people of
Yeah,
the
Mr.
planet
Rogers was happening.
how to just love and accept, and, you know, his knowing of just, you know, connecting us all, and there would just be a beautiful, easy love of all people, you know, and that we can all sing the one note that's to be sung. So
That's lovely.
That's
Thank
what I
you.
got.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. I love the that connection, the sacral chakra, and the dough of that, and the sort of cosmic connection of tonality. You know, that the dough is God. The dough is God, and how that relates to the sacral chakra and all of that. That's just good.
yeah, it's like the learning, like God being the parent, and just the learning of us here on earth.
Yeah,
Connecting
yeah.
us all.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good. That's good. I like the text. The idea of the sacral chakra. It of course is the way we become incarnate, but that is related to actually children. Actually, is related to children. And you know, I mean, when we're first incarnate, that's the first thing we are, is children, right? And we get that sense when we're around them. So yeah, that's great. We got all the twos? Okay. Let's try for number 3. We must have some number 3s in the audience. Yes, we do. Okay. Okay. This one is in the key of A. A is third eye. A is third eye. So this is insight and inner knowing, vision. I think if we do visioning here, that's always third eye stuff, or engages the third eye. So that's the note we have, and the note is do. It's intention. So the card is divisi. I don't know if you can see this. People at home can see it. It is they're just musical staffs. This is a directive card. Directive cards have things written on them that you find in a musical score. And what divisi means split up. It means have to go this way, have to go that way. Literally, when you have a divisi, you'll have a section of violins and an orchestra, and there's 8 of them playing, and then and they're all playing the same note going on. Then it'll say divisi, and suddenly it'll become 2 parts. So each one becomes half as powerful, but now you have 2 notes. And a lot of times, after a divisi, what happens is what's on the other end of the card, a due, which means come back together. So a divisi is this idea of splitting up, maybe dividing your resources a lot of times, a lot of that. Sometimes if dividing, what's the right word I'm looking for? Tasks. And it's something that's very mundane, but I mean, a lot of times that's what it comes up for me, is when it's too much for one person. Maybe you want to share the load, split it up. Or maybe it's not working this way, so we have to go this way. It can actually mean dividing. It can actually mean splitting apart from a person, not necessarily on a permanent basis, because you could come back together again. It can be temporary, it can be permanent, but it's the idea of dividing resources, at least for a time. And the other point is intention, and the other point is inner knowing. So those are these three elements. Speak to anyone?
If I'm going to put that splitting up in the context of our teaching, Science of Mind,
Mm-hmm.
that's another way of saying individualization,
Mm-hmm.
that the oneness of God becomes individualized in creation.
Yes.
So the allness of God splits up in a sense, but it never really does because it's always one. However, it
Right.
individualizes itself and it divides itself into an infinite variety of expressions, whether it's animals, minerals, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I heard it, is the one coming into incarnation as the many. And I don't know if that's another way of saying it. And what it allows is variety, diversity, creativity, experience uniqueness, individualizations in an infinite variety of ways.
Yes, I love that. That is just gold. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was here. Last time I did this, it took me so long to set up. I showed up really early today, and I was sitting around here for like 2 hours. So I was reading Science of Mind while I was sitting here, and I was reading that very passage. So it was like, yes, yeah, individualization. And of course, you have a violin section, so they start playing 2 notes. It's still one violin section. Yes. And the violin section is still in one orchestra, which is still in one building, which is still in one earth, made up of all things that are made up of one God. So, yes, that's a...
And it's what gives life the juiciness and the textures and the fullness of experience. Because if we're ultimately, I mean, where else is there to go, really? If there's eternality and oneness in infiniteness, right? So what the whole experience is to experience the diversity and the uniqueness and in the context of oneness, but it gives the zest and the juiciness and the creativity and we would not have that experience if we did not have this phenomena of dividing or individualizing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. DVC, diversity. I mean, that really sounds like the same root to me, right? And so there's this inner knowing and an intent to experience that, to embrace that. That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you. That's wonderful. Yay.
That I had the same thought, and to piggyback on that, I had a vision of there being the one of us all together, of God, and being an individual expression of God, and kind of letting us out of the tour bus and letting us roam all over the world, going different places and having unique expressions and being all different people of all different ideas and collecting ideas and learning, along the way and having the experience, which, I believe we're here for, right? The expansion of the all, right? That's, I guess, the point of it, possibly. And then, but the coming back together with all the knowledge and everybody's experience together that's the ultimate classroom or expansion, and the discussion after everybody going out and coming back to discuss it.
Yeah,
to
that's
grow.
great. Right on. Right on. Yeah, I hear that, and I like the when you say that the active aspect of what you're saying. That it's the experiential aspect of it, and the adue that can come at the end. I mean, the thing about that is when the adue comes, the music is no longer in the same place. We're in a different place in the composition now, and the whole line means something different. We don't know what that adue is going to look like. It's not coming back to the way we were. It's coming back in a different place. Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. Thank you.
Jeff.
Hey.
I just gotta be the poo-pooer. No, really, for me, it's what it speaks to me about is, I still am at a place in my life where just really having that unwavering faith and trust, and then you've got the fear and the unknown, and so for the diversity for me is, I'm back in a place where there's a resistance, and really, the third eye and the insight today, that's the difference for me, is I have more abilities, I have more tools, I have more reasoning to be able to process this, this split, this, wherever I am in this space, and really, make the intention, and once the decision's made, make that decision, and just be intent upon it with that inner knowing that I've examined both sides of that wrestling match that seems to always show up in my heart, and sometimes you can look at it too long, but I'm getting better at that, relying on that insight, relying on those tools, the programs, the trusting in the higher power, in the universe, and those kind of things, to where, but I seem to find myself in that split, and then I have to use those tools and then just once I make the decision, do it with intention, and have that faith, put it in, so.
So you're like feeling the weight of the split. Is what you're talking about, yeah. Yeah, I can really relate to that.
Yeah, I'm in a battle, and I'm really, full of fear and indecision, and but I have today those insights and the knowing, and extra resources now, and ultimately what it boils down to is, once you make that decision, you make an intention, and you trust in that. You finally just let that go, and and let it be.
Yeah, set it in motion.
You have to find that,
Yeah.
But no, it's yeah, that's what it is for me today. Yeah, is yeah, always in a wrestling match, and then just process it, and then once the decision's made, just trust in that and have that faith, and take the next step.
Right on.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
So it's a huge area of growth for me. It gets really uncomfortable a lot, but to know where I'm at, and that, I can do something about it today is way different. So that's where it was at for me today. So.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. One thing that we talked in that came up in the meditation too, is this return to Do. returning to that knowledge and the power of intention, that inner knowing, that here it is, that it's always there, right? Yeah. Yes? That's you, okay.
Hey, yeah, what a, thank you so much for this evening. I mean, it's just fascinating and helped really get me into alignment and real powerful.
Oh, good.
On many levels. The card reading related to the creative energy rising, I like that. I feel like I've done a lot of forgiveness work for myself and life and others, and so I feel open and receptive to that, and it's kind of moving up to this solar plex. I don't know, did you talk about the solar plex somewhere in there?
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
just
the second
felt
one
like
did,
that
yes.
sense. And the dough being, for me, was purpose. Like, nothing is more important than that. This divine purpose is wanting to come through me, and I want to stay in that. I'm always wanting to live in that, you know?
Mhm.
And then that third card, that division that came up for me was that there's different parts of me. Like I sometimes feel divided, but I'm still the same. Like I have these different aspects. I have a positive part of me and I have a negative. I have a yin and the yang. I have the, all these kind of divisiveness that's within me, but it's all one.
Mhm.
And honoring that, honoring that oneness that's within me, even though I have these different aspects of who I am.
Mhm.
And honoring the whole process
Yeah,
of
yeah.
growth and expansion and creation and stepping into that. Because there's this part of me that wants to say, oh, you should be further along in your life. Just kind of negative part of me. Then it's like, oh no, you should accept yourself right where you are. So I have this like, I don't know, the angel and the devil or something.
Right,
almost,
right, yes.
you know.
And they keep
And-
changing clothes, and it's
Yeah,
confusing.
and,
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the voice. It's just the voice. It's just. But to honor that too, was kind of what I got from that divided part.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. Yes, honor the division. It's who we are right now, and it's
It's
purposeful
all
and
part
working
of the
for us.
package,
Yeah.
I was listening to something that was shared about the Bhagavad Gita, and sometimes things come in a package you don't expect,
Mm-hmm.
and yet that package is perfect, it's divine, it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look the way you thought it should look, We talk
Right.
about that, all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
The acceptance of those are all part of who I am.
All part of us. Yes.
Yeah.
Always said that none of those are wrong. That's really true.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, you want to?
Any number threes?
Anybody else?
Anybody else got a three they want to share?
We have a few minutes left.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
No? Okay. No worries. No pressure. That.
Obviously, mine's really literal. A week ago, I intentionally quit my job with all my knowledge, and I'm splitting resources right now. But it's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
A week ago, I intentionally, with all the knowledge that I have in my third eye, I quit my job, and I have no idea what the future is. And I'm splitting resources, but I know it's what I want to do. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
I mean,
happens.
yeah.
I'll see you
That doesn't sound silly at all. That sounds pretty concrete to me. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. It does. It does, and just yeah. And yeah.
And like with that number 3, you always come back to inner knowingness, because even in the midst of conflict, there's always the truth that there's who I am is directly connected to infinite wisdom. So that's part of 3 is that we might individualize, and if you want to put it in Kim's terminology, we might be in the midst of rapid volatile change and questioning, and yet there's that inner knowingness that is never touched by human situation or circumstance. And so 3 has, because of that, the card or whatever you said, that inner knowingness and wisdom, that is at the core.
Mm-hmm.
And it will not ever be tapped down or inhibited or limited by anything we're experiencing, not a job change, not a health challenge, not a relationship breakup. Nothing can ever touch that. So
Mhm.
that's part of this that keeps us going. And some people call it the soul of you, you know. Organizations have that center, that vortex that
Mhm.
people do. It's just to remember that in the midst of all crap breaking out, you know, that's
Mhm.
the deal.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Yeah, you felt, well, where's the attention? Is it on the vortex, the center, the essence, or is it in, or is my attention and identification with the crap that's happening, you know? We're always at choice.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, you know, I want to, since we ended on this note, let's end on this note, shall we? Because this is a really good note. This is the third eye note right here. And let's explore its tonality. And there we have it. Hey, folks. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for sharing. Because it's always kind of cheating when I give these things because I get a lot out of them myself.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank
You're
you. That was
welcome. You're
awesome.
welcome.
You
I mean, it's just like,
absolutely outdid yourselves this evening.
thank
as
you.
Usual,
Thank
as
you.
usual. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. So he'll be back next month. I'm not sure exactly what you'll conjure up, but I'm sure it'll be
I'll conjure
fascinating.
something.
Yeah. So make sure you come to this Sunday. Reverend Hughes is going to be speaking here at the Spiritual Center. I'm not sure what your topic is this Sunday. Sparking imagination. Hey, that fits right into what we were talking about tonight.
Indeed.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to it. And thank you all for coming tonight. Namaste. Have a
Okay.
beautiful night.
Thank you, guys. Namaste. Cheers, guys.